My son handed me a letter telling me to leave. On the very same day, I finished the last payment on the house I built with my own two hands 45 years ago. My name is Margaret Hayes, and today, my high-profile lawyer's son made the biggest mistake of his entire life. See, Daniel always assumed his old caterer mom was poor. He thought I needed his money, his guidance, his decisions. So he stood in my kitchen and told me I had 30 days to pack up my pots and move into an old folks' home because in his mind, I'm too broke, too fragile, too confused to live in the house I designed, I built, and I paid for every single brick of the house that's now worth $2.5 million. Daniel makes $350,000 a year, drives a shiny BMW, and yet somehow believes his own mother can't afford groceries. He even called me a financial burden in front of his wife's family, rich folks who looked at me with pity like I was some charity case. But Daniel doesn't understand something very important. Quiet people know a lot more than they ever say. Instead of arguing, I simply made 3 phone calls. One to my financial advisor about my $2.1 million in savings. One to my daughter to tell her I'm transferring the house papers to her. And one to my lawyer about the Florida beach house I bought in cash last year. The look on Daniel's face when he finally learned the truth. Absolutely priceless. If you're watching this, hit that subscribe button and tell me where you're watching from. Especially if someone has ever judged you by your job. This is the story of how a poor little caterer taught her proud son that assumptions cost more than money. Let me show you how Daniel sees his mother. October 15, 2024. Daniel pulls up in his BMW X7. That's a $1,180 a month payment, by the way. I'm in the kitchen, arranging my catering supplies. The same stainless steel pots I bought in 1978, when my daughter Rachel was born. Heavy metal built to last a lifetime. To me, they're treasures. To him, they're trash. He walks in wearing a $3,800 designer suit, scanning the room like he just walked into a thrift store. Mom, we need to talk about all this. Old stuff cluttering the kitchen. Old stuff. 45 years of meals, memories, and milestones. And he calls them old stuff. These pots aren't old stuff, Daniel, I tell him. They're my history. He picks up my oven mitts repaired many times. Still work perfectly. Mom, look at these things. You can't keep living like this. Like what? I ask. Like a woman who knows that good things don't need replacing. That evening, Stephanie comes over for dinner. Daniel's wife, 31, works in advertising, carries a $7,500 designer bag like it's part of her hand. She sits at the dining table I built myself in 1985, tapping her nails on the wood like she's checking for dust. Margaret, she says, not even looking up from her phone. Have you thought about getting a smaller place? This big house must be so expensive, especially for someone on retirement money. Retirement money. She thinks I'm living off tiny government checks. Daniel nods. Steph's right, Mom. The bills alone must be killing your savings. What is it? $24,000 a year. That's a lot for someone like you. I sipped from the same teacup Rachel painted for me in grade school. I'm doing just fine, I say. And that's the problem for them. You shouldn't have to just be fine, Stephanie adds. There are lovely senior communities. Temperature control. Meals prepared. Activities. Activities. Like I'm a lonely old woman who needs arts and crafts time. Daniel leans forward. Mom, we've been thinking. This house is way too big for you, Mom. 4 bedrooms. 3 bathrooms. That huge yard. Daniel starts listing things like he's reading from a report. When did you even last use the extra bedrooms? Rachel uses one whenever she brings the kids, I answer. Stephanie lifts her eyebrow. Once a month. That's a lot of expensive space for a once-a-month visitor. I look around the room. Every decoration. Every shelf. Every tiny detail. I put them here myself. That pretty border near the ceiling. Took me 4 whole weekends to finish. The tile floors. I laid them one by one during the summer of 1979. Your father and I raised 2 children in this house, I say quietly. Daniel's tone softens, but his words don't. I know, Mom, that's exactly why we want to help you move to something better. Better? A word rich people use when they want to make themselves feel generous? Stephanie scrolls through her phone. I've been looking at senior communities. Golden Years Village has amazing amenities. It's about $5,800 a month, but Daniel and I could help cover it. Help, as in giving money to someone who can't take care of themselves. I built this house in 1979. I say, every board, every screw, every light fixture. We know, Mom, Daniel replies, but you're 68. It's time to let someone else handle the repairs. They exchange a quick glance across my dining table, a glance that tells me everything. They've already made the decision. This isn't a conversation. This is a presentation. We love you, Margaret, Stephanie says, finally looking up from her screen. But you can't stay stuck in old times forever. Old times? 45 years of marriage, raising babies, building a home with my own hands. And that's just old times to them. I stand and start gathering the plates. The same plates James and I picked out together back in 1980, nothing expensive, nothing flashy for Daniel's fancy friends. But they've held thousands of meals, birthdays, homework nights, a family's entire history. I'll think about it, I tell them. Daniel smiles like he's already won. That's all we want, Mom. But as I watch his BMW roll down the driveway, I pour myself a cup of tea. I am thinking, just not about what they expect. Let me tell you what really matters here. It's not just walls, pipes, and paint. It's 45 years of living. This kitchen. James and I designed every inch of it during the winter of 1978. He insisted the window face the backyard so I could watch the kids play while cooking. I installed that window. Myself framed it with special wood cut from a fallen tree after the big storm. On the kitchen doorway, pencil marks still sit like quiet ghosts. Daniel at 5. Daniel at 7. Daniel at 10. Rachel's birthday's little lines creeping higher each year. Daniel used to stand against that doorframe wearing his tiny soccer uniform, looking up at me like I was the strongest person in the world. Now he wants to erase all of it. Because it's more convenient. If I give up, if I pack my bags and move to Golden Years Village like an unwanted old piece of furniture, what am I really losing? First, my freedom. At Golden Years Village, someone else decides everything. When I eat, what I eat, when lights go off, what temperature the room stays at, what activities I should enjoy. I've been making my own choices for 68 years. I'm not giving that up to some 25-year-old activities coordinator. Second, my grandchildren. Rachel brings Tommy and little Jamie over every few weeks. Tommy's 9, curious, stubborn, a Hayes through and through. He loves hearing stories about how I built this place. Last month, he made his first cake right here in this kitchen. 3 tries. Never quit. That's our family way. How's he supposed to learn that at Golden Years Village? By making paper flowers in the craft room. Third, respect. Not just theirs. My own. If I let them push me, if I let Daniel bulldoze me, because he's ashamed of having a mother who worked with her hands. What does that say about what I've taught him? I raised him to be strong. Independent. Now he's using his success to try to control the woman who sacrificed so much. To give him every chance. I'm not done teaching him yet. The money part is real too. But Daniel and Stephanie don't know the half of it yet. This house is worth $2.5 million today. Houses on this street sell anywhere from $2.4 to $2.9 million. Daniel and Stephanie see that as a burden. I see it as a miracle. Something that grew over 1,300% since the day I bought this land for $48,000 back in 1978 . But money isn't what keeps me awake at night. What scares me most is what happens to James's memory. He died 4 years ago, heart problems. Fought them for 20 long months with more courage than I've ever seen in a person. His last days were spent in the master bedroom I remodeled for him in 1986. The room with the special window he requested. The one facing his vegetable garden. I want to see my tomatoes, he used to say from the hospital bed we moved in there. And now Daniel wants me to leave that room behind. To box up James's clothes, his books, his reading chair, and hand the room to some new family who'll modernize it. Stephanie even said, "You could probably get good money for some of these old things, Margaret." Old things. To her, James's wooden wedding chest is just old things. If I don't stand up now, this isn't just about losing a house. It's losing myself. Everything I built. Everything I became. I'd be turning into exactly what Daniel already thinks I am. A helpless old woman who needs managing. But Daniel forgets something. I ran a catering business for 45 years. I planned weddings, events, emergencies, disasters. Nothing happens in my life without a plan. And I can see his plan as clearly as a recipe card. He doesn't just want me out of the house. He wants me out of the way. Somewhere easy. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere forgettable. That's not happening. Not without a fight. October 18th. Daniel calls. "Mom, I need to come by. We need another talk." He arrives with papers this time. Big, glossy booklets spread across my dining table like he's pitching a timeshare. Stephanie stands behind him, nodding like his assistant. "Mom, Golden Years Village has an opening," Daniel says. Opening a shiny folder. "I told you I'd think about it," I remind him. "You've had 3 days. How much thinking does it take?" I flip open the booklet. Smiling, seniors playing cards. People doing water aerobics. Painting birds with giant fake smiles. It looks like heaven. If heaven was painted beige and smelled like disinfectant, says it costs $5,800 a month, I say. That's $69,600 a year. Daniel waves his hand. "I told you we'll help with that." "For how long?" I ask. He freezes. "What do you mean?" "I mean, what happens when you get tired of paying? What happens when your job hits trouble? What happens when $69,600 a year looks better as a new car in Stephanie's driveway?" "Margaret, that's not fair, isn't it?" I ask. "You've known me for 4 years. In all that time, when have I ever asked either of you for money?" Daniel leans forward. "Never, and that's the problem." "Mom, you won't ask for help even when you need it." "Who says I need help?" Daniel gestures at the house. "Look around. The gutters need cleaning. The front path is cracked. The fence needs painting." I smile. "Those gutters were cleaned last weekend. The path cracks are filled with sealant, and I'm waiting for better weather to repaint the fence." He blinks. "You cleaned the gutters yourself. Who else would clean them?" "Mom, you're 68. You shouldn't be climbing ladders." "I've been climbing ladders since before you were born, Daniel. And I know how to do it safely." Stephanie folds her arms. "Margaret, taking care of a house this size just isn't realistic at your age." I look her dead in the eye. "What would you know about taking care of a home?" Her face goes red. "You rent an apartment downtown. People come change your light bulbs and mow your grass. Have you ever fixed a leaky sink? Replaced broken tiles? Done anything more difficult than calling maintenance?" Daniel snaps. "Mom, this isn't about Stephanie. It's about your safety. Your quality of life." "My quality of life is fine, is it?" He challenges. When's the last time you spent time with people your age? I sip my tea. Tuesday? Coffee with Linda Martinez at the craft store. She's 71. That's not the same, Daniel insists. Why not? Because, he searches for the right word. Because you need organized activities. Professional watching. Professional watching, I repeat slowly. You mean supervision. I mean support. No, son. You mean control. The room goes silent. Stephanie looks at Daniel like she's waiting for him to win the argument. Daniel clears his throat, pulls out another document. Look, Mom, I talked to lawyers. If something happens to you, a fall, a medical emergency, and you're here alone, there could be legal problems. For the family. He slides the paper forward. If you get hurt and it comes out that we knew you, we're living in a dangerous situation. I put down my teacup. Are you threatening me? I'm protecting all of us, he says, by helping you move into proper care before a crisis forces the choice. I stand. Get out. Daniel looks genuinely stunned. Mom, get out. Stephanie grabs her purse with a dramatic sigh. Margaret, you're being unreasonable. Am I? I ask calmly. My own son just threatened to use legal action to force me into a senior facility. That seems pretty unreasonable to me. Daniel's voice goes cold. Fine, have it your way. But when you fall off a ladder or have a heart attack alone in this giant house, don't expect us to clean up the mess. I won't. Daniel gathers his papers. But understand something, Mom. His jaw tightens. This house will be sold eventually. Whether you cooperate or not. I stare at him. What is that supposed to mean? Daniel straightens his tie. It means I'm your next of kin. I have power of attorney for medical decisions. So if a doctor ever says you're not thinking clearly, he doesn't finish the sentence. He doesn't need to. Stephanie gives me a sugary smile. We're trying to help you, the easy way, Margaret. But there are other ways. They walk out, leaving me in the middle of my dining room, surrounded by 45 years of memories. And the sudden realization that none of this is about my safety. It's about control. Daniel's BMW backs down my driveway for the second time this week. But unlike the first time, I'm not thinking about their plan. I'm thinking about mine. The first phone call, Rachel. After they leave, I sit in the same soft chair I bought when Daniel graduated college. I pick up my phone. Rachel answers in the middle of her shift at Orange County Children's Hospital. She always answers for me. Mom, everything okay? Rachel, I need to ask you something. She groans softly. Oh boy, when you start with I need to ask you something, I know Daniel's done something stupid. What happened now? She gets that intuition from her father. If someone tried to force you out of your home, what would you do? I ask. A long pause. Mom, Daniel can't force you out of your house. You own it. Actually, sweetheart, it's more complicated than you think. What do you mean? I explain the power of attorney situation. The doctor loophole. The threats. The assumption that I'm helpless and broke. Rachel's voice tightens. What did he say exactly? He told me, when you fall off a ladder or have a heart attack, don't expect us to clean up the mess. Rachel explodes. That son of a... She stops herself. Sorry, Mom, but that is not okay. I want you to understand something. I tell her gently. Whatever happens next, I'm not helpless. I'm not broke. And I'm not going quietly. Mom, you're scaring me. What aren't you telling me? Nothing dangerous. But I have things Daniel doesn't know about. Another pause. Rachel, how would you feel about getting this house instead of Daniel? Silence. Then, Mom, are you okay? Really? I'm fine. Better than fine. I just want to know if you'd want it. The responsibility, the work, everything. Mom, I love that house. Tommy and Jamie love that house. But if you're thinking about changing your will because you're mad at Daniel, I'm not mad, I say. I'm disappointed. There's a difference. We'll talk this weekend, she says. I'll come by Saturday morning. Bring the kids. We'll have breakfast in the kitchen. Good, I say softly. I love you. I love you too, Mom. The second call, Patricia Chen. My next call is to Patricia Chen. We go back 38 years. I met her at a small business seminar in 1986. I was a caterer trying to learn how to save money. And Patricia had just started her financial planning firm. Funny how life works. While Daniel grew up thinking his mom was just another working woman with tired hands, Patricia and I were quietly building a fortune. Margaret, she says warmly, how's retirement treating you? Complicated. Uh-oh, she laughs. What do you need? How quickly can you set up a meeting? I ask. What kind of meeting? The kind where we review my savings. In front of witnesses, Patricia laughs softly. Ah, someone is finally ready to stop being the best-kept secret in Orange County. Something like that. Who are the witnesses? She asks. Daniel. Some of his business friends. Maybe Stephanie's parents. Oh, Patricia says, the ones who think you're living off pocket change. That's right. She's quiet for a second. Margaret, are you sure? Once this secret comes out, the secret's gotten too big. It's time. All right, she says. Tell me when and where. And Patricia, thank you. You know you don't owe anyone an explanation for how you've managed your money, right? I know, I say. But sometimes people need to learn that guessing wrong can get very expensive. The third call, my lawyer. My final call is to Susan Baker, my lawyer for the last 12 years. Margaret, what can I do for you? Susan, I want to talk about giving this house to Rachel. Not when I die. Now, that's a big step, she says. What brought this on? I explain Daniel's threats. The power of attorney. The angle he's trying to play. Margaret, Susan says gently, you understand that once you give the property away, it's legally Rachel's. You no longer own it. I understand. And I trust Rachel more than I trust my own son right now. All right. I'll prepare the papers. But Margaret, I strongly suggest having a family meeting first. Clear the air. Oh, I say with a small smile, I'm planning on it. A very, very clear conversation. I hang up. Look around my living room. The built-in shelves I installed in 1992. It's time to teach my son the lesson he never saw coming. That decorative wall piece on my living room wall. I carved it from storm-fallen wood. Every groove, every angle, every detail was placed with intention. Daniel thinks this house is just a structure. A box with rooms. He has no idea it's a gift. For the future, for the people I love. And it's time to teach him that difference. **, October 22nd. Daniel calls with what he thinks is an invitation. It sounds more like an order. Mom, Stephanie's parents are in town. We're having dinner Thursday at 7 o'clock. Stephanie's parents, Richard and Caroline Davis. He's in commercial real estate. She sits on boards for 3 charity groups. Daniel adds, figured you should meet them. Translation. He wants to parade his wealthy in-laws around, while showcasing his problem mother, so they understand why she needs to be managed. Where's dinner? I ask. Stephanie's cooking. Stephanie's cooking usually means ordering from high-end restaurants and pretending she made it herself. All right, I say. 7 it is. Mom, Daniel adds, lowering his voice. Could you dress nicely? Maybe the blue sweater Rachel got you for Christmas. I'll wear whatever I wear, Daniel. Okay. See you Thursday. Thursday night **. It's cold and windy fitting for what I expect will be a chilly evening. I dress in clean pants, a neat blouse, and my good shoes. The ones Daniel once called *embarrassing. I'm 68. If that bothers anyone, that's their problem. Daniel's downtown house is one of those modern luxury places. All glass, metal, and pretension. Furniture that looks like it costs more than a used car and is probably twice as uncomfortable. Stephanie greets me wearing a cocktail dress that could pay my utilities for a year. Margaret, come in. Mom and Dad are excited to meet you. Yeah, I'll bet. Richard Davis is exactly what I expected. 63. Gray hair, a handshake like he's closing a business deal. Caroline is polished, perfect, expensive. The kind of woman who's never chipped a nail washing a dish. Margaret, she says, smiling too tightly. We've heard so much about you. Richard adds, with that cheerful loud tone rich people use on workers. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you both, I reply. Caroline scans the living room like she's appraising it. This home is absolutely beautiful, Stephanie. It must have cost. Stephanie shoots her a sharp look. The sentence dies. Daniel hands out drinks. Wine for everyone. Juice for me. As if that's all I'm responsible enough to handle. The dinner begins. So, Margaret, Richard asks, settling back. Daniel tells me you're retired. What did you do? I was a caterer. Oh, Caroline chirps. Such honest work. Must have been exhausting. All that physical labor. I liked it. I answer simply. What did you specialize in? Richard asks. Weddings, parties, all of it, I say. Events big and small. Richard nods. Well, practical. Daniel jumps in quickly. Mom's very good at what she does. She catered for the whole neighborhood for years. The way he says asterisk, good at what she does asterisk, sounds like he's talking about a hobby, a cute pastime, not a career, not decades of expertise. Caroline perks up. What neighborhood? Old Irvine, I say. Her interest drops instantly. Oh, one of the older communities, I'm sure. Built in 1979, I confirm. Richard nods knowingly. Ah, yes, those simple houses from the 70s. Basic builds, but durable. Simple houses. Basic builds. 45 years of custom work. And he calls it basic. It's not simple, I say softly. I designed and built it myself. Every inch. How nice, Carolyn says, using the tone people reserve. For a child showing them a crayon drawing, asterisk, asterisk, the real topic comes out, asterisk, asterisk, dinner flows around me like I'm a decorative lamp. Richard talks about $2.5 million condos in Miami Beach. Caroline brags about raising $350,000 for a charity gala. Daniel reviews quarterly goals at his firm. I eat my fish quietly. Then Richard turns his steak and says, Daniel, Stephanie mentioned you're helping your mother with living adjustments. Daniel steals a glance at me. Mom's at the age where the house is becoming too much. Smart, Caroline says. My mother waited too long, fell down the stairs at 79. 5 months of recovery could have been avoided. Exactly, Stephanie chimes in. We found her a lovely senior place. Which one? Richard asks. Golden Years Village, Daniel replies proudly. Oh yes, Richard says. We looked at that for my mother. Long waiting list. Daniel straightens his shoulders. We were able to get a spot. How fortunate, Caroline says. Those places aren't cheap, you know. Daniel glances at me. We're helping with the costs. Helping as if I'm a charity case. Caroline turns to me, full of pity. Margaret, you must be asterisk so asterisk grateful. Not everyone is lucky enough to have children who can afford to help. I put down my fork. Actually, Caroline, I say, I'm perfectly capable of paying my own way. Silence drops like a stone. Of course, Richard says carefully. Daniel just meant? I know what Daniel meant. I look right at him. He meant I'm a financial burden who needs managing. A poor old caterer who can't afford her life. Daniel flushes red. That's not Mom, come on. Isn't it? I press. You've introduced me all evening as the caterer, made excuses for my clothes, downplayed my home, and implied you're carrying me financially. Stephanie lowers her eyes. Margaret, that's not. Richard, I interrupt. What do you think this house is worth? Richard glances around. Well, in this market, probably $1.70 to $2.1 million. And what do you think my simple little house in Old Irvine is worth? The room freezes. Richard clears his throat. Honestly, maybe $750,000. Older neighborhoods aren't. My house, I say calmly, is worth $2.5 million. Similar homes in my neighborhood sell between $2.4 and $2.9 million. The silence becomes absolute. Daniel stares at me. Mom, how do you know that? I sip my juice. The same way you know your law firm numbers, son. I pay attention. The dinner conversation dies instantly. Richard and Caroline exchange a look. Stephanie suddenly becomes fascinated with her wine glass. Daniel sits rigid, like he's trying to solve a math equation that suddenly got 3 new variables. I stand. Thank you for dinner, I say calmly. It was educational. As I head toward the door, I hear Richard whisper to Daniel, I thought you said she needed financial help. I thought she did, Daniel mutters back. Interesting guesses, son. But guessing wrong is expensive. October 24th. Daniel calls the next morning. His voice is tight, caught somewhere between anger and confusion. Mom, we need to talk about what you said at dinner. What about it? The house value. Where did you get that number? Real estate websites. Public records. Market checks. Same places anyone gets property values. But Mom, you don't. I mean, you've never been interested in what, Daniel? Silence. In money, investments, understanding what you own. I let the silence stretch. Can we meet? He asks. I'd like to bring Patricia Chen. She's our financial advisor. Maybe she can help explain some things. A different Patricia Chen than my Patricia Chen. The coincidence makes me smile. Your place or mine? I ask. Actually, I was thinking somewhere nice. I'm hosting some potential clients tonight. Bella Vista, downtown. 7:30. He wants witnesses. Perfect. I'll be there. And Mom, maybe dress appropriately. I'll wear what I always wear, Daniel. Bella Vista. That evening, Bella Vista hums with the low, expensive buzz of a place where the menu has no prices. Daniel reserved a large corner table, clearly expecting an audience for tonight's performance. He's already there when I arrive. Stephanie sits beside him. Their financial person, his Patricia Chen, sits stiffly in an expensive suit. 3 strangers sit across from them. Potential clients. Perfect. Mom, Daniel says, scanning my clean blouse and pants. You look like myself. I finish for him. He proceeds with introductions. Jessica Park, Metro Investment Group. Michael Torres, Elite Development. Lisa Anderson, Capital Coast. All of them shake my hand politely. All of them give Daniel the same silent impression. Remember when you asked how I knew my house value, Daniel? I smile softly. I told you. I pay attention. He's handling an elderly relative. Margaret is my mother, Daniel announces. Retired caterer. Built her own house in the 70s. We're helping her transition into more appropriate living arrangements. More appropriate. There's that phrase again. Very admirable, Michael says. Elder care is a real challenge. Elder care. As if I'm 2 steps from needing help cutting my food, Daniel signals the waiter. Mom, what would you like to drink? I'm fine. Tea for the working mom. Wine for the sophisticated business class. So predictable. Jessica tries polite conversation. So, Margaret, what was it like building your own house? Amazing, I say. You imagine something. Then you build it with your own hands. Must have saved a lot of money, Lisa adds. Some? Mostly, I wanted it done right. Daniel jumps in. Mom's always been very very practical. Practical. Code for simple. Unsophisticated. Beneath them, they go back to discussing developments like they're talking about grocery lists. I sip my tea and let them talk. Then, something very interesting happens. A woman approaches the table. Mid-50s. Tailored suit. Confident stride. Daniel turns, startled. Excuse me, she says gently. Are you asterisk Margaret Hayes asterisk? Every head at the table snaps toward me. Daniel's face goes from curious to worried. My name is asterisk Patricia Chen asterisk Summit Wealth Planning. She extends a hand. I got your message about meeting tonight. Sorry I'm late. LA traffic was awful. The other Patricia Chen, the one Daniel hired. Looks like someone just told her she showed up at the wrong wedding. My Patricia smiles. Margaret, good to see you. If you want to review your portfolio changes, I can do that now, or we can schedule for later. I shake her hand. Actually, Patricia, this might be the perfect time. My son Daniel has been concerned about my financial situation. Maybe you can clarify a few things for him. Daniel's face drains of color. Mom, what's going on? Patricia opens a leather folder. Well, she says casually, as of yesterday's market close, Mrs. Hayes, your investment account sits at this, $14, 5,78. Forks pause midair. Patricia continues. Your Florida property is currently valued at $1.7 million though based on recent comparable sales, we may want to adjust upward. Florida property. Stephanie nearly drops her wine glass. Patricia flips a page. Your stock positions, Amazon, Google, Tesla, are performing very well. Total stock value around $390. You could hear a pin drop between the clinking glasses of this fancy restaurant. Michael whispers, did she just say $2.1 million? Patricia nods politely. That's just the liquid investments. The Florida home is separate. Lovely beach property, by the way. Bought it in cash last year. Stephanie's jaw practically hits the table. Daniel finally finds his voice shaky, uncertain. How? What is she talking about? I sit back and fold my hands. I look at Daniel, steady and calm. Well, I say softly, I've actually been paying attention to a lot of things for a very long time. Patricia continues, flipping through her folder as if this is a routine. Tuesday meeting. The quarterly income from your portfolio alone covers most of your living expenses. And with the Florida property appreciating roughly 7% annually, you're positioned for long-term financial independence. Jessica Park leans forward, fascinated. How on earth did you build that kind of wealth on a caterer's salary? Same way anyone builds wealth, I reply. Live below your means. Invest consistently. Let compounding do the work. I started buying investment funds in 1,983 $150 a month. Eventually, then more whenever the business allowed it. Michael and Lisa glance at Daniel like he's been caught exaggerating his resume. Lisa asks Daniel directly, didn't you say your mother needed financial help? Daniel opens and closes his mouth, silent, stunned, gasping like a fish pulled from water. Stephanie whispers, expression stiff, but Margaret, you live so simply. I live within my means, Stephanie, there's a difference. Patricia Chen checks her watch. Margaret, do you want to discuss the property transfer now? The Irvine house going to Rachel. Daniel's face goes sheet white. Property transfer, Patricia explains smoothly. Your mother is gifting the Irvine home to Rachel. Smart move. It removes the property from any future complications. And Rachel's a responsible heir. Silence drops heavy over the table. Finally, Michael Torres breaks it. So, you're not moving to a senior home? Golden Years Village. No, I say. I'm moving to Florida. Beach view. Morning walks. Maybe some volunteer work at a community kitchen. Daniel's clients stare at me with a mixture of surprise and, is that admiration? Jessica Park smiles and extends her hand. Mrs. Hayes, your long-term planning is genuinely impressive. Thank you. Daniel isn't basking in that admiration. He looks like a man watching his entire narrative burn down around him. Patricia closes her folder. Everything's set for the transfer, she says. Rachel just needs to sign the final papers. Perfect, I say. Daniel, any questions about my financial situation? Daniel turns a blotchy shade of red. Mom, why didn't you tell me? Tell you what, I ask? That I'm not broke. That I'm not helpless. That I didn't need your support. He swallows hard. The money. The investments. The Florida house. I look him straight in the eye. And when exactly would I have told you? When you called me a financial burden. When you threatened legal action. When you introduced me to these people as the food lady you were helping. The restaurant buzzes around us, but our table sits in absolute silence. Never guess anything about anyone, I say quietly, especially the woman who taught you how to tie your shoes. I stand, leave money for my meal, and walk out. Behind me, I hear Jessica Park whisper, so, when you said you were helping with elder care? But I don't stay to hear Daniel's answer. I already know what it is. Friday morning. I wake up in my house. For one of the last times. Strange feeling. Giving away something you built with your own hands. But sometimes the best way to protect something is to pass it to someone who understands its worth. My phone rings non-stop. Daniel 7 times. Stephanie 3. I let them go to voicemail. At 9 a.m. sharp, Susan Baker arrives with the transfer papers. 20 minutes later, Rachel walks in still in her nurse scrubs from the night shift. Mom, are you absolutely sure? She asks. We sit at the same kitchen table, where Daniel handed me his ultimatum 6 days ago. Feels like years. Rachel, I say softly, do you love this house? Of course, it's where I learned to bake cookies. Where Dad taught me to plant flowers. Where you helped me with homework for 3 straight years. Do you want your kids to have those same memories? Her eyes soften. Yes, I do. Then, I'm sure. Susan spreads the papers. This deed transfers full ownership of the house from Margaret Hayes to Rachel Hayes Miller. Once you sign, Rachel, it's yours. All rights, all responsibilities. Rachel lifts the pen, pauses. Mom, what about Daniel? He's going to be furious. Daniel made his position clear, I say calmly. He wants me out in 30 days. I'm simply giving him what he asked for. But his inheritance. What inheritance? I smile. He called this house a burden. I'm removing the burden. We sign the documents. My name Margaret Hayes on this deed one last time. But this time, the signature means freedom. Rachel signs carefully, reverently. Congratulations, Susan says. You now own a $2.5 million piece of Orange County real estate. Rachel looks at me. Mom, where will you live? I smile. Florida. Remember, Patricia? She helped me buy a place there last year. 3 bedrooms. Beach view. I was saving it for family vacations. Now it's my new home. Rachel hugs me tightly. Mom, I don't even know what to say. Say you'll take care of this place. Teach the kids about the border in the living room. About the tile floors I laid. About the dining table I built. I will. But Mom, what about Daniel? Before I can answer, we hear a BMW screech into the driveway. A door slams. Heavy footsteps. Daniel bursts through the door. Mom, your car's here. Why aren't you answering your phone? He walks into the kitchen and freezes. Papers, pens. Susan Baker. Rachel, me? Mom, what's going on? I gesture calmly. Daniel, meet the new owner of this house. His eyes flick from the papers to Rachel, then back to me. What? Susan gathers her folder. Mrs. Hayes has transferred ownership to your sister. Everything is legal and filed. Daniel's face drains. Mom, you can't do this. Done, I say. But this is my inheritance. Asterisk was asterisk your inheritance. I correct him. Past tense. Stephanie appears in the doorway. Her jaw drops. Margaret, you can't just give away the family home. I did. It's Rachel's now. Daniel slams his hand on the table. This is because of dinner last night, isn't it? You're punishing me. Punishing you for what? I ask. For telling the truth. For knowing my financial situation better than you ever bothered to ask. Daniel starts pacing. Okay, fine. You have money. You're not broke. But that doesn't change anything. You still shouldn't be living alone in this giant house. You're right, I say. I shouldn't. That's why I'm moving to Florida. Florida. Daniel chokes. Rachel stands. She owns a house there. Beachfront. Bought it last year. Daniel blinks rapidly. You bought a house in Florida. $1.7 million cash, I say. Smaller, cozier, perfect for me. Stephanie sinks into a chair. So, you never needed our help. You never asked if I did. Daniel's voice breaks. Then why did you let us worry? Why didn't you tell us? I didn't let you do anything. You guessed I was helpless. You never asked. You decided for me. Rachel steps between us. Daniel, enough. This is ridiculous, he shouts. You can't just take the family home. I'm not taking anything, Rachel says. Mom is giving me the house because I value it. Daniel turns to me, broken. Mom, we can fix this. Just tear up the papers. The papers are already filed, Susan says. Property transfers are permanent. Daniel looks like a child lost in a grocery store. Mom, please. This is our family home. Yes, I say gently. And now it stays in the family. With someone who respects it. Stephanie tugs Daniel's sleeve. Come on. There's nothing left to discuss. But Daniel doesn't move. Mom, why didn't you just tell me you had money? I look at him. 43 years old, successful, educated, but blind in all the ways that matter. Because, son, you never asked. You looked at my apron and my simple clothes and assumed you knew who I was. You saw retired caterer and thought, poor old woman. You never asked about my investments, my plans, my abilities. You just guessed. His shoulders collapse. So, this is it, he whispers. You're leaving. Yes, I say softly. I'm moving to Florida. You know where to find me. If you ever decide to visit. And Rachel gets everything. Susan smiles as she gathers the last of the papers. My pleasure, Margaret. And congratulations on your new home. Daniel and Stephanie leave without another word. I hear the BMW back out of the driveway. One last time. Rachel and I sit in the quiet kitchen. Sunlight pours through the window I installed 43 years ago, warming the same wooden table where I've eaten thousands of meals, solved 100 problems, and raised 2 children. Mom, are you okay? Rachel asks. I'm fine, sweetheart. Better than fine. Will Daniel forgive you? That's up to Daniel. I squeeze her hand. But remember this, Rachel. Never let anyone make you feel small. Just because they're too lazy to look deeper. She nods, eyes wet. I love you, Mom. I love you, too. Now, want to see pictures of my new beach house. #. Monday, the first attack. The problems start Monday morning. Rachel calls at 7 a.m., tired from night shift and tense from family drama. Mom, Daniel's been calling me all weekend. He wants to fight the transfer. On what grounds? I ask. He says you were pressured, that you're not mentally capable of making major financial decisions. I almost laugh. The same man who just discovered I've been managing a $2.1 million portfolio for 20 years thinks I'm not mentally capable. His lawyer is someone named James Mitchell. She adds, apparently he specializes in elder law. I know that name. His firm went after a caterer friend of mine 6 years ago. Mean, expensive, not very honest. Don't worry, I say. Susan Baker anticipated this. What do you mean? I had a full mental capacity evaluation done last Wednesday. Dr. Emily Rodriguez, board-certified geriatric psychiatrist, perfect scores on every test. The documents are already filed with the county. You planned for this? Rachel asks, stunned. Sweetheart, when you run a catering business for 45 years, you learn to see trouble before it's on the menu. Tuesday, Patricia's call. Tuesday, my phone rings again. Margaret, Patricia says, I thought you should know Daniel contacted our office yesterday. What did he want? Everything. Details on your accounts, balances, transaction history, investment strategy. When I explained we couldn't share anything without your permission, he got upset. Upset how? I ask. He threatened to file a complaint with the regulators. She says, claims you're being taken advantage of by dishonest financial advisors. This time, I really do laugh. Patricia, you've been managing money for 38 years. Your reputation is spotless. That's exactly what I told him. But Margaret, he's clearly not handling this well. That, I say, is his work to do, not mine. Wednesday, the hospital scene. Wednesday, Rachel calls on her lunch break. You won't believe what Daniel did, she says. Try me. He showed up at the hospital, at my work, cornered me in the nurse's lounge, told me he wanted to make me an offer. What kind of offer? He offered me $$3 million for the house, cash, immediate closing. That's more than it's worth, I say. I told him it wasn't for sale, and he lost it. Started ranting about family loyalty. About how I was taking advantage of your mental decline in front of Nurse Rodriguez, Nurse Kim, and 3 doctors. I'm sorry, sweetheart. The worst part? He kept calling you confused and easily manipulated. Like you're some poor old lady who doesn't know what she's signing. What did you tell him? I told him. If anyone's confused, it's the son who never bothered to learn about his mother's finances before, deciding she was broke. Good girl. ###. Thursday, the fallout. Thursday, my phone rings again. This time, it's not Daniel. It's Stephanie. Margaret, we need to talk. About what? About Daniel. About what this situation is doing to him. What situation? I ask. You know what situation, she snaps. He's not sleeping. He's not eating right. He's obsessed with proving you're not capable. Stephanie, I say calmly, your husband spent years assuming I was a financial burden. Now he's upset. His assumptions were wrong. That's not my emergency. But you have to understand, she insists. This is affecting his business relationships. Now that is interesting. How so? I ask. After that dinner at Bella Vista, word got around about your money, about what Daniel had been saying. Jessica Park pulled out of a partnership. She said she couldn't work with someone who doesn't even know his own mother's situation. I sip my coffee. So now his guesses aren't just embarrassing. They're costly. Michael Torres canceled a consulting contract. Stephanie continues. He said Daniel's family management issues made him question his judgment. He lost $160,000 in deals this week. Margaret. Stephanie, I say gently. Everything people are reacting to is the truth. If Daniel chose to build a story about his poor, helpless mother without ever asking me a single question, That's on him. Friday, one last walkthrough. Friday afternoon, Rachel brings the kids over to see the house one more time before I officially move to Florida. Tommy, 9, runs through every room like he's saving each one in his memory. Jamie, 6, plants herself in the kitchen, Grandma's pancake spot. Grandma, Tommy asks as we walk through the kitchen. Why did Daddy Daniel get so mad about the house? Sometimes adults make guesses about things they don't understand. I tell him. Your dad thought I couldn't take care of myself anymore? Tommy frowns. But you take care of asterisk everyone, asterisk. I smile. That's right, buddy. Hash hash hash. Saturday, the porch conversation. Saturday morning, Daniel shows up. Alone. No Stephanie. No lawyer. No briefcase. Just my son. Mom, can we talk? He asks quietly. We can always talk. We sit on the front porch I built in 1983, the same porch where he learned to ride a scooter. Where we tossed a ball back and forth. Where we used to sit on summer nights and talk about his day. I lost the park account, he says finally. I'm sorry, I answer. They said they couldn't trust someone who doesn't even know his own family situation. I say nothing. Mom, I know I handled this badly. I know I made assumptions. Yes, I reply. You did. But did it have to cost me everything? He asks. My relationship with you. My reputation. The house. I look at him. Successful, educated, driven. And for the first time in years, I see something real. Vulnerability. Daniel, I ask softly. What did you think was going to happen? You threatened to have me declared mentally unfit. You talked about me like I was a burden. You planned to move me into a facility without ever asking what I wanted. I thought I was helping, he whispers. No, I say. You thought you were asterisk managing asterisk me. There's a difference. He stares at his hands. So? What now? Do we ever fix this? That depends, I say. On whether you can learn to see me as your mother. Not a problem you're supposed to solve. He nods slowly. I'd like to try. You know where to find me, I say. His BMW rolls away one last time, and I realize something. Daniel didn't lose everything this week. He lost his guesses. What he builds with that truth is up to him. Hash hash hash. 2 weeks later, Florida. 2 weeks later, I'm sitting on my deck in Florida, watching the Atlantic stretch out to forever. Coffee really does taste better when you drink it 40 feet from the waves. My phone rings. Rachel. Mom, guess who's learning to use the dining table? She says. Both kids. I'm teaching them to make cookies the way you taught me. Tommy says the workspace is perfectly designed. I smile. That's because it is. I measured your dad's height, my height. And yours to calculate the best working space. He's also obsessed with your pot organization. She laughs. He wants to know why every pan has an exact spot. Because organization is efficiency. And efficiency is respect for the work. Mom, she says, I think you've got a future apprentice. Through my window, I see a neighbor wrestling with a broken fence. Older woman, about my age. I make a mental note. Drop by later. Offer help. Maybe bring cookies. How's home ownership? I ask. Wonderful and terrifying, Rachel admits. Yesterday I had to call an electrician for a broken switch. 15 minutes of work. $240. Next time, call me, I say. I can walk you through most repairs over the phone. Mom, you're in Florida. I can't ask you to fly out every time a light flickers. You won't have to, I tell her. Part of owning that house is learning how it works. I'll teach you. And Tommy too, if he wants. He asked if we could build something together next weekend. What does he want to build? A play fort in the backyard. I set down my cup. Your father and I planned that backyard for a play area back in 1987. Took 37 years, but the plan finally found its builder. Mom, you don't have to come back for that. I want to. That yard has been waiting for a play fort since before you were born. A text from Daniel. After we hang up, I walk down to the beach. Florida mornings are something special. Clean air, endless sky, waves that sound like they're erasing yesterday. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Daniel. Greater than, Mom, greater than, saw an article about a community kitchen needing volunteer cooks in Tampa, thought you might be interested. It's the first message from him since the porch. No orders, no threats, just respect. I reply, thanks, already signed up. First project starts Monday. His reply is instant. Greater than, that's great. Would love to hear about it sometime. Call me next weekend after 6 p.m. I will. Love you, Mom. Greater than, love you too, Mom. Small steps, but those are still steps. Monday, the community kitchen. Monday morning, I report to the community kitchen in Tampa. The coordinator, Maria Santos, is all business. Margaret, we've got a family who needs real meals, not microwaved nonsense. We need someone who knows what they're doing with a knife. I've been handling prep since 1979, I tell her. Point me at a cutting board. The family we're cooking for, Carlos and Anna Martinez. Both teachers, 3 little kids. Remind me of James and me, 40 years ago. Mrs. Hayes, Carlos says during a break. Maria tells us you ran a catering business. What advice would you give new parents like us? I think of Daniel and his guesses. Rachel and the deed. Tommy and the future fort. Understand that a home isn't just shelter, I say. It's the base camp for everything. Family dinners, birthday cakes, homework help. Christmas mornings. Take care of it. And it will take care of you. Anna nods. We want our kids to have roots. Stability. You're already ahead, I tell her. Houses are built with wood and nails. Homes are built with intention and respect. Another quarter. Another gift. Wednesday, Patricia calls with my quarterly report. Margaret, your portfolio's up 6% this quarter. Florida property rose another 4%. You're in excellent shape. Good, I say. I want to do something with it. What did you have in mind? First, I want an education fund for my grandkids. $180,000 total. Split between Tommy and Jamie. I don't want them to know about it until they're ready for college. Easy, Patricia says. We'll set up a trust with education only. Perfect. And one more thing. I want a scholarship fund for kids from working families who want to learn food. Service skills, catering, cooking, baking, restaurant work, real skills that feed people. How much? Let's start with $450,000, I say. We can grow it over time. Margaret, she says softly. You do realize this makes you the kind of client future planners dream about, right? I laugh. Tell them it all. Started with a woman who bought good pots in 1978 and never threw them away. Saturday, the real inheritance. Saturday morning, I'm back in Rachel's driveway at 8 a.m. sharp. Tommy stands waiting wearing tiny work gloves and holding a kid-sized toolkit. Ready to build a play for it, Grandma Margaret? He asks. Ready, buddy? I say. But first, I have to teach you something my father taught me. What? Measure twice. Cut once. Respect your tools. Respect your materials. Respect the work. Everything else follows from that. Tommy nods like I just handed him a secret spell. Maybe I did. We spend the day designing what will probably be the most over-engineered play fort in Orange County history. He learns about strong supports, solid foundations, and why you never use the wrong nail just because it's closer. As we work, I think about *** gifts to the future. ***. Daniel thought he was inheriting a house. But houses can be sold, flipped, torn down. The real inheritance, patience, skill, respect for honest work. The courage not to underestimate people. Those things can't just be handed over. They have to be asterisk asterisk earned asterisk asterisk and actively asterisk asterisk taught asterisk asterisk. Grandma Margaret, Tommy says, carefully measuring a board. When I grow up, I want to build houses like you. Then I'll teach you everything I know, buddy, I say. Everything. Because at the end of the day, asterisk asterisk, real gifts aren't about what you leave behind. They're about what you pass along. Asterisk asterisk. And some things are far too valuable to let anyone just asterisk asterisk guess, asterisk asterisk about.